I got to tell you, I want to stop and I want to ask you about something you just said there. You started talking about redefining the role of leaders, redefining the role of the marketing department, redefining the players within the marketing department. Never before did we think we should probably have some prompt engineers in here, which means we should probably have some developers in here, right? I see what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it. And I'll raise my hand. I spent about half of my working time over the holidays trying to write a multi-stage prompt that I kept running into issue after issue because I'm not a developer, right? One of the first things I did after the holidays is I pick up the phone, I called, right? I messaged Slacked over to my lead developer and I said, okay, you got to help me. I can't do what I want to do without your skill set. And you've done something amazing. You've taken a significant portion of your team and you have outsourced it to Accenture. And if you could tell us why and what kind of skill sets you needed, what kind of things you need to be able to dial up and dial down, and why you're redefining how your marketing department is providing the service internally needed for an ABM go-to-market strategy. And I just thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, no, and it's all related to Intel as a whole company. And we've got a new CEO, Lip Tan, who's really pulling the company to be future forward. But he's very AI centric. There's AI in our business. And to your point, we didn't have prompt engineers. We didn't have hard engineers. It was all old outside or to our IT department. Yeah. We were the business geeks, but we weren't the tech geeks. And there were many other areas. And what I've stressed with the move to a Accenture, which was actually the decision of our previous CRO or CCO at the time, where he wanted the old infinity loop of the customer experience, right? From educate to sell to acquire to support to renew, all of, that traditional loop, and how sales, marketing, engineering, business unit all contribute their connected value to that loop to make it sustainable and grow. And so he made the decision, and it was hard, deliberate decision to make, and even harder as a business to execute. Because when you make that decision, it immediately has human impact. And I don't want to belittle the huge amount of effort and experience that left the company because of the decision that we made. And that was hard for us to absorb, number one. That gave us the opportunity to completely reconstitute the marketing function in terms of what is needed, not only for today, but more importantly for tomorrow. So the prompt engineers, the data engineers, the agentic AI engineers, on top of the great creative people, the great campaign people, the great ABM and MarTech engineers. And really, we're in the middle of this stand up. So the decision was made in January. You signed the contract in June. I'm not saying live, but you start activating in July. And then we turn the service on in September in its minimum viable product. Okay. But we're not seeing the benefits of AI yet because we just needed to run the events we committed to. All right. Or support the partners with their activities that we committed to. So we spent a lot of Q3, Q4 calendar last year just stabilizing a majority outsourced execution trainings. And we're quickly now pivoting to what does this mean for us? Now, on the ABM front, we have that vision, right? You get all of these intent signals. I want an agent to write an email to address that audience with what they're currently doing today, and then agentically inform the rep that, hey, we're doing this on your behalf, and here is what the response has been, as opposed to us compiling a PowerPoint and having a 30-minute update in a 1 quarter meeting in sales. So the vision is clear about the possibility of this stuff. But to our point before, there's no packaged app for that. Like, where is Adobe taking their marketing, MarTech? Where is Six Sense taking agentically their platform? What do we have to craft our own? And we're in the throes of designing something that will A, quickly deliver something to us, but B, and this is my biggest worry bead of this, because the industry is so nascent, and we've seen this play out before, lots of little unicorns, I say small, but they're big, They're not what $10 million companies, they're 300, they're 1 billion, whatever. But they quickly get absorbed by the Adobe that you abandoned or by the Salesforce that you made a decision to pivot from. And you have that whole thing that you have to manage. I'm really worried that choose the right areas to immediately jump on where you don't inherit a technical debt, number one. Like, do I have to have now a full-time engineering team to keep this thing up to date and running? And B, you were very clear at the start why you were doing it and you're measuring its outcome as soon as it goes live, and quickly retire if it didn't deliver on its promise. Yeah. And I just think, just like ABM, this whole AI thing can make that thing so powerful, but be incredibly deliberate of distilling the vision from the promise to what you can deliver. Now, the essential relationship to the original question just gives us this flexibility. All right. So this quarter, I need real engineers to develop the first pass. Now I need a beef up in campaign to light that motion up. Now I need a beef up at my .com team to optimize the digital experience aligned to the ABM-ness. Because as you know, the DX side is such an integrated part of the emails you send, the webinars you host, the physical events that weave into the whole ABM experience that you're creating. And this ability to go to them and say, I need that today, I need that tomorrow, take that down, put this up, was incredibly powerful to me. And you've worked at big companies before. The ability to ramp up and then go down a permanent workforce, it's difficult. And in Intel, it was even more difficult because very publicly we were cutting costs, right? And so for me to justify, hey, I need 10 engineers tomorrow to engineer an agentic approach, I wouldn't get that approved. But now with this relationship, I can pivot up, pivot down,